my name is Dr. Ruth Newstifter, but I'd rather you just call me Dr. Ruthie. I'm a professional sexuality educator. You can find me over at exploringintimacy.com or at your bookstore and online as the author of The Nice Girl's Guide to Talking Dirty. But today I'm here, thanks to the fantastic folks at funwares.com, answering questions from moms for Mother's Day month, all about sex and intimacy. If you want to send me a question, I really hope you do. You can email me at AskDrRuathie at funwares.com, or you can tweet me at DrRuthie, D-R-R-U-T-H-I-E. A short but sweet question with what's bound to be a long and complicated answer. Dear Dr. Ruthie, how do I balance co-sleeping with remaining sexual with my spouse? Very, very good question. So what is co-sleeping for folks who are not familiar with this? It's basically the idea, in a nutshell, that when you are a parent, you have your children sleep in the same room and oftentimes even in the same bed as you until they no longer want to do that, or until you decide you no longer want to co-sleep. Or that you at least allow them to until a particular age. Different people do co-sleeping in lots of different ways. There's no one hard and fast definition for this. But that is what co-sleeping is, and totally not going to enter the debate into whether that's a good idea or not. For some folks, it's not even a choice, depending on your housing situation. For other folks, it's a dedication to being a parent that co-sleeps and has all these great foundations. So you make that co-sleeping decision for yourself. That's none of my business. If you make the decision to co-sleep, it can be difficult to remain sexually active with your spouse or your significant other or your lover or whoever the folks may be that you're having sex with. And so there's a few good things to keep in mind. I am not the world's foremost expert on co-sleeping, but I do know a little bit about it. And my understanding of the origins of co-sleeping is it coming from cultures in which this is typical, that children and parents don't have a big boundary around sleeping arrangements, maybe because housing requires it, or maybe because just culturally speaking, there just isn't a big deal about children having to have their own rooms right away and whatnot. And so there's the notion of this. It's important to remember that in cultures where co-sleeping is incredibly common, it's also considered common and appropriate for children to know that parents are having sex. Now, I've talked about that in some other videos this month as well, so you can hear more about that there. But basically, this is stemming from cultures in which we don't try to hide our sexuality from our children. Now, we're not having sex with the children in co-sleeping situations or anything like that, but it's seen as healthy and normal for children to know that their parents have sex. And in some cultures in which co-sleeping is a necessity because everyone lives in the same room, you can pretty much bet that the children have probably seen their parents having sex as well. And the interesting thing that research suggests to us is that those kids in those particular cultures don't end up damaged by that. Now, I'm not suggesting that we have sex in front of our kids and that that's okay. It's not okay in the culture where I'm living right now, and if you're in the same culture as me, then it's not okay for us. And that's fine. It's absolutely fine for our children to not see us having sex. I'm kind of a fan of that. But what it does mean is that it's not necessarily damaging for children to know that we have sex. It really depends on how we handle them having that knowledge and that situation. So the first thing I'm going to say is if you're making a commitment to co-sleeping, you're also making a commitment to an all-around, more shared, knowledgeable family life where your kids are aware that you're a sexual being and that you have sex. And that means that you make space and boundary to be sexually intimate with your partners, and your children learn that they need to leave you be right then. And so this is an important part. This is part of the package of co-sleeping. Easier said than done. If the children are extremely little, it may be that there is a different place for them to be or different caregivers for them to be with while you're intimate, so that someone is with the children if they need to be monitored at all times. And then it means when the children are a little bit older that they recognize that there are times when the two of you are using the bedroom without them there, or the two of you are using the guest room or wherever it is that your place may be without them there. It's also very important that we recognize the importance of having a space that supports romanticism and sexual health and well-being. If your bedroom is a place for storage or a place for kid stuff or a place that is very much just kidified, then it can be really difficult to switch modes and say, all right, right now I'm not living with the primary identity of being a mom. Right now I'm living with the primary identity of being a lover, or whatever you want to call that other identity. And if your space doesn't allow you to make that transition, it's going to be even harder. So even if you got it set up where, kids are watching their movie in the other room, they know that you're having mommy time, daddy time, whatever, mommy daddy time, whatever. If your space doesn't allow you to make that transition, that's going to be really difficult. So that means decorating your room in a way that you feel comfortable with co-sleeping, but it also allows you to transition over into having those other roles in your life as well. So keeping that in mind is very important. It's also important that you feel comfortable snuggling and being in love with your spouse in front of your kids. Not necessarily making love with your spouse in front of your kids, but being in love with your lovers, your partners, your spouses in front of your children. Again, this is giving them really great messages as they grow up about being happy and healthy and normal, having a loving sexual life as a grown-up. So, these are my suggestions to you with co-sleeping. This is going to require probably some changes in how you do things. It'll be some work in the beginning, but the payoff for that should be really great and long-lasting. Most of the work happens in the beginning, and then you get to reap the rewards over the long term. I'm Dr. Ruthie. I hope this helps you to continue to have wonderful pleasure and also maintain your co-sleeping arrangement if you so choose. And I will see you in the next video. And thanks so much to funwares.com for making these possible.